Consider it double, which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the July 20th, 2026 Select Board meeting for the town of Lancaster. You can see I'm not in my regular middle chair, but I am, looks like, in the middle of the room. It was not practical for me to be at the meeting tonight. I'm caring for an elderly relative out of state, but I still wanted to participate, so I ask for the board's acceptance of me participating in this manner. And ask also if someone is willing to be the presiding officer tonight.
We can do that. We can do that. So Leon has accepted. Leon has accepted the challenge.
Thank you.
The meeting's been called to order. We'll start with department head updates.
Thank you very much. First up, Chief Flynn.
The statistics for June of this year, 911 calls, we did 53, transfers 113, for a total of 166. Last year to date was 347 911 calls. Year to date, and transfers was 601. For a total of 948. Last year, for the month of June, we did 75 911 calls, 89 transfers for a total of 164. Year to date, for the same time period last year was 355 911 calls and 641 transfers for a total of 996. We had 137 requests for transfers. We turned down 24 due to staffing. The way they've been coming lately is they've been coming bunched up. So we only have so many trucks, so many people. So all the fire trucks are in good working order. We had a little run-in with a tree, with somebody backed into a tree with the fire truck. That's been repaired. I'm not exactly sure what the price on that is. We took it down to Wilco and had them take care of it. I can't imagine it'll be that much, but I'll let you know when I get the bill. All the ambulances are in good working order, and the inspection report is attached, and the mileage report. And I apologize about the fire statistics, and I know every month I say that there's mess ups with the new system the state's using, but there is still mess up with the system the state is using that we have to use. They're always updating it. They're always finding mistakes. I want to give you the most accurate info I can. But as far as the fire department, that has been busier than normal. We had a big year last year, and I think we'll have a bigger year this year. And other than that, that's all I have.
So you had a mutual aid.
Yeah, we did have a big fire over the weekend. We ended up going mutual aid to Concord, Vermont. The house was a total loss, but nobody got hurt. None of our guys got hurt. There were a couple of firemen transported from other departments and private citizen. We had 2 codes on Saturday here, one in Whitefield and one here in town. And I'm happy to announce that I think the first one passed, unfortunately, and the one that we picked up in town here when we deployed our new CPR device, that was a success. Okay.
You know that we met with representatives from NCH regarding some of the Go North monies, and as well as operationalizing staffing for different inter-facility opportunities.
Correct. We haven't heard back from them, but if they go with the model that we were suggesting, I think that'll benefit us tremendously. And that's trying to help out AVH by alternating days with other services. So we can up our staff on those days and take advantage of revenue. We do have a meeting this Wednesday, if I got my date correct, in Bethlehem with Go North. There's some other monies available for equipment, I think is what it is. That we'll try to take advantage of that as
Focuses on operational needs.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
I want to also thank the fire department for kind of their work during our kind of out of the blue situation. You know, fire, police, and highway really stepped up quickly, and I appreciate it. Robin.
All quarterly reports were filed timely by the 15th. Tonight, I think Jessica will be speaking about the Coloneltown quote. I need a decision tonight because I absolutely have to have a reimbursement request in by 7/31. There are no extensions. I've got no further word on the facility funding through CDBG. They're going through some staff changes, but I think that will turn around fast. This week, I'll be drafting the contractor RFP or bid for the LSLI. Because we're down to 218 poles, Tim and I have felt that if we got it out as fast as we could, they could possibly get all of those repaired this year, and then there's no conflict with any other projects in the ground. There will not be a ZBA meeting at the end of this month. Just want to mention that permits are primarily demolition this year, and that's because the transfer station has been really diligent about turning people away unless they're permitted. The last meeting for the emergency operations plan was last week. All updates from me, which is basically just the resource list, needs to be into Jane by July 30th, and then she wants to turn it around rapidly so that it's at your first meeting in August. Summer Street, Jessica and I have been, well, Jim McMahon has been out of the office. So we need to follow up with him because I need to submit an amendment of the scope and the budget, but I don't have prices attached to the different like smaller task orders. If we're gonna remove something, I need to have a price attached to it. Yeah, because we want to reduce the scope to something that would fit within what we have.
He's on vacation.
He's back. He's back. We hope to connect with him tomorrow. He's unavailable today.
Yeah. The solar project, Weston and Sampson, was actually on site on Friday. So the engineer, well, Barrington Solar took delivery of everything, and then the engineer was there to review or inspect the site and see if there's anything further that would likely need to be done with the site. And he basically does not feel that the town crew has to do anything. Yeah. As of today, I have updated the body of the safety policy. I have not gone into the appendices mostly because we as a committee did not review that section, so that could be on the next agenda. And then, Tricia has submitted her receipts for the beautification. She got up to 2,700 and change. She's only like $30 short of her grant money. So she bought a lot of trees, planted a lot of trees, and got some new stuff. And then the last thing I just wanted to mention was Chris and I have been using the Thames reporting for permits, both from his inspection end and my permitting end, and then consolidating them on this online platform. So we can basically talk to each other about certain locations. And it's been very good because Chris can look at everything that's been filed for a location, and he has a much better comprehensive view of what's been going on. And I think it was just a good move, I think, for us to get to that level, and we'll just continue to build it.
And it's free.
Yeah, that's great. That's it.
I did have one question. No, I'm sorry. Somebody asked about permit fees today. Did we vote to approve those?
Recently.
His are separate, so
Oh.
he's got a
I know we
separate fire
discussed
one.
it at a meeting, and I don't remember if it was authorized to actually start billing.
I thought we had approved everything at the start of the January 26th, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Well, neither was I, so we haven't been billing, but we should be. If we can get that question answered. And I apologize, I forgot to mention that during my,
And then we need to post it.
correct.
I've got one question again, and it's on the Causeway Street project, because we know we're running towards the end of when we can expend the money. As the railroad gave us an answer on going underneath those tracks.
That is a section of the project that will not be completed.
Yeah. In my opinion, this is ridiculous. It's been almost 2 years since we contacted the railroad. And if they can't give us an answer, you wanna know what? Put it under the railroad and complete the project. They're jacking us around. And it has gone to Executive Council Kenny again. But there's no excuse for this railroad not to give us an answer in 2 years. And that's my opinion, is we sleeve it, put it underneath the railroad, complete the project. If they don't like it, too bad. You've had 2 years to answer us. That's ridiculous.
I agree with you, because I said that from day one. I would just push a sleeve across that, and were they gonna give you a fine? I mean, they wouldn't even know you did it. And it's been long now.
Except that you're on a publicly posted meeting.
I don't care. Maybe that will actually get them to get off their backside and give us an answer. Because it was the same thing 20 years ago when we did Sand Street. We sat there for years waiting for them to answer us. And then finally, I don't know if they ever did answer us, but I know it finally did get sleeved and done. There's no excuse, especially when we're apt to lose grant money because we can't finish a project. There's just no excuse for it. So, that's my rant for tonight, maybe.
So yes, the fees were adopted in February.
Ever?
Yes.
Okay.
We have to post those first. So what, and is there a time period?
We can get it going tomorrow.
Okay,
Thank you, Robin.
thank you.
Maggie, anything from your end? Thank you. Barbara?
Well, you made the coffee winner that we had some elevator issues last week. We had people stuck in the elevator twice. We turned the equipment off on Friday. The town was quick, very quick responding to get people up. The elevator was repaired today. The serviceman decided, since he had to do regular maintenance anyway, that's all he was doing. So as far as we're concerned, he repaired it as part of the regular maintenance, and we should not see any difference. We're hoping. The staff from Control Technologies was here last week. They finished their engineering work. You know, they working on the upgrades to our air handling system within the next month, and that should be finished during September. And the upgrades on the lighting are still pending the last little bit of the interior. And then that will be finished with the
Great news. Thank you very much.
Yeah. That's it from,
That's somebody. I'd like to go over this because this is, current and future projects that you have to gain their copy for you as well. I know it's pretty lengthy, but I'd like to go over it. That way there, if you have any questions, you can ask them now while I'm still here. So basically I categorized it by facility. The water plant, the flow meters, the gyro recorders need to be calibrated in September of 2026. That's a yearly task that was done all the time. Filter bed is gonna need to be, it's just about dry, but it's gonna need to be cleaned and then operated the waste and placed online. Sometime August 2026. So then after that's done, filter bed number 2 will need to be drained, dried and cleaned and placed on standby before the end of 2026. pH probe will need to be replaced in 2026. To do it every other year. Chlorine analyzer needs to be rebuilt in 2026. That has to be done once a year. Fluoride analyzer, again, rebuild once a year, 2026. Water intake needs to be cleaned 3 to 4 times a year based on debris and pressure gauge reading. The water pump suction hose needs to be repaired or replaced. I'm gonna try to get that done. And check valve installed. Lab equipment was calibrated and certified July of 26. They come annually and do that. It'll be due again in 2027. The vendor has our thermometers and weights. They take them back with them to certify them, and then they'll send them. They'll probably mail them to the town office. So you're gonna want to make sure you get them back. They're real expensive. The chlorine transfer pump, I repaired that a bunch of times, and I mean, unless somebody else can repair it, they'll eventually have to replace it. And I think the last look, it was around $4,500 to $5,000 for that little pump. Water plant generator annual service is due in 2026, always in the fall. There is a little bit of tree removal from the storm damage, not 100% done. We'll get it done as time allows. The Grange facility, the 10,000 gallon inflow septic tank gets pumped out late fall every year. Again, you'll see a lot of duplicates. Flow meters and chart recorders need to be calibrated September 2026. Tree removal, there's a couple trees down there, not 100% done. We'll get done as time allows. The generator will need to be serviced. North Road, Middle Street, PRD building, the flow meters and chart recorders will be calibrated September 2026. And chlorine analyzer there also needs to have a rebuild kit put in at 2026. Summer Street, North Main Street, Route 3, North Pump Station, wet wells need to be cleaned and pumped out. We usually do it in the fall after the fair. And the generators at the stations will be due for annual service in 2026. Main pump station, the influent main sewer line, grit channel and stations are cleaned twice a year. Vortex does that. They just did it last week, so it'll be done again. I usually wait till late fall. Pump station generator, that's going to need its annual service. Again, flow meters, chart recorders need to be calibrated in September. Need to service the pumps, the grinders, the motors, the drive shafts, and exercise all of that. Do that once a year. That generator, because it doesn't get a lot of load on it, should be put on a load bank sometime to clear out, because it's starting to wet stack, because it doesn't have enough, it's a diesel engine, doesn't have enough load on it. And that's not good for it. Lagoons, the lagoon generator service due 2026. Again, flow meters, chart recorders need to be calibrated September 2026. Lagoon influence septic tank needs to be pumped out. Again, we usually do that in the fall in conjunction with cleaning the wet wells stations after the fair. The lagoon chlorine contact chamber concrete, we've talked about this many times, it's deteriorating, it needs to be repaired or replaced, and that's a huge, huge item. The lagoon outfalls, valve boxes, and distribution boxes, the concrete is deteriorating, it needs to be repaired or replaced, more so replaced. You've got seen pictures of that in the past, the rebar showing, it's never, everybody talks about it, but nobody seems to be able to come up with the money to fix it. Lagoon aerators get serviced every spring and every fall, so we'll be due again in the fall. Lagoon aerators are failing faster than I can repair them. An alternate form of aeration should be considered, as the current ones are high maintenance and not energy efficient or reliable. I just rebuilt one, and I'm gonna put that in hopefully this week or next week, and fingers crossed that the remaining of them, I don't know, it seems like every year I'm rebuilding and replacing at least two. The lagoons, the 14-inch and 36-inch D boxes need to be repaired or replaced. The concrete's all falling apart. Lagoons, the 14-inch force main from the main pump station to the transfer station should be inspected and or replaced. The remaining section was replaced about 15 years ago. We were supposed to go back and replace the other part, but because it's not leaking, it never got replaced. Lagoon secondary ponds will need to be adjusted in late fall to maximize detention time for winter conditions. The lagoon solar bee area mixers, the batteries will need to be inspected and or replaced. Other future large and small projects, cleaning and inspection of 20% of the wastewater collecting system, that has to be done every year. The north end of Summer Street, which is the project we're working on with Jim. Sewer manhole replacement on Main Street over by the Verizon store. Lee Corrigan is supposed to be replacing that sometime soon. The sewer manhole replacement and sewer line rehabilitation on Middle Street to help relieve the hospital sanitary sewer overflows. PNR is the contractor that was awarded the bid for that. The wastewater skater system project for the that's still in the works. Lafayette Controls is the contractor working on that. Causeway Street water line and road project, PNR construction. System-wide hydrant flushing has to be done. We haven't had time to do it yet. System-wide gate valve operation and maintenance, that we seem to never have time to do that. And then continuation of the lead service line identification and remediation. That's the project we worked on in June. The entire sewer collection system should be inspected with CCTV to determine future infrastructure repair or replacement. Also, stormwater separation should be addressed to remove as much stormwater from the wastewater collection system. This will help with wastewater treatment plant upgrades or complete replacement. Continue to address projects outlined in the water and wastewater energy audit, and continue to address projects in the asset management plan. So, if you have any questions, I know it's a lot, I'd be happy to answer. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but most of the stuff on this list is stuff that I used to handle myself. So you're gonna have to get somebody else to do it, like the generator service, the cap flow meters and all that. So it's all stuff that has to be done. It's just the direction you guys choose to go. I'm not sure.
Appreciate you being up front and giving us a list of expected projects and stuff that we're gonna be facing.
Yeah.
Here in the near future.
Yeah. If I can provide, I mean, I started my own LLC, I got my own company, and if I can provide services to the town of Lancaster, heard through the grapevine, reached out to Walters Water and Wastewater for contract operations. If something comes up like that, I'd be more than happy to get on being a contract operator as well. So that's about all I can do I mean, there's a lot more stuff. It's just I felt that I needed to put it on paper because I don't want whoever comes along, be surprised on some of the stuff, because it's all, stuff's all definitely 100%.
Yep.
All right,
And we'll definitely give that consideration, as I've told you before.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, appreciate it. Because I would imagine that'd be something that would put out to do, so. All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, you also have Chief Woodworth's Selectmen's Report. You'll see since last meeting, calls for service 452, 2 crashes, 124 stops, 6 arrests. Same time last year, calls for service 515, crash 13, stops 145, and arrest 16. Year to date, calls for service 3,518 versus last year 3,241. Crashes this year were 41 compared to 56 last year. Stops current were 1,083 versus last year 921, and year to date this year 77 arrests compared to 110 for last year. They still have 1 open position to fill, passed on the 1 applicant that they had. The MDTs are installed and working in the cruisers. Officer Jefferson is being deployed back overseas. Unknown return date, so he has left at this point in time. On June 17th, Chief Woodworth assisted the New Hampshire Attorney General's office with the elder abuse prevention training at Weeks Hospital. He's working on getting quotes for the work on the police department roof ridge caps. They're starting to, they're wearing off of the roof. And Lieutenant Matthews and K-9 Barrett provided a demo at the Northern New Hampshire Emergency Services event at the fairground. That's it. All right, department heads, you want to take off? Feel free. We'll talk here. There are no appointments this evening, nor public hearings. Next up is the review of minutes for July 6th, 2026, the work session.
We have a motion.
I make a motion to accept.
I will second that.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Next up is the July 6th. Yeah. Next up is the July 6th, 2026, regular meeting minutes.
I have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. There you go. And we also have a July 6th, 2026 non-public session meeting minute.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Jane? Kathy Jane?
Aye.
Aye.
There we go.
Thank you.
Next up this evening, we have signed various paperwork. There's a fireworks permit for Kyle Homes at 36 Prospect Street for July 25th, 2026. We also have an abatement for the town of Lancaster. It's a trailer at 67 Causeway Street for $43. As well as Taproot Farm and Environmental Education at 30 Elm Street for $110. This is for the community garden, and the meter is pulled for the winter, so they were accidentally billed. For new business this evening, number one is New Hampshire Retirement System remittance. We will be receiving a refund from New Hampshire Retirement System for monies that we had paid to an eligible employee for their health care subsidy. That was owed to them. It's actually owed to the town. So we will be holding a future public hearing. I just wanted to make sure that you were all aware of it prior to us holding it. We are kind of stacking up our public hearings. I know that we spoke in the July work session about the water sewer rates. We also have the FEMA monies to accept and now these monies as well. So we're just trying to make the most of kind of the advertising dollars when we have these kind of funny little public hearings. So we'll move forward with that. There's no other new business this evening. And then for old business, number one, thanks to Robin's Tickler, we do have Colonel Town's heating system placement. I know at the last select board meeting, you motioned for up to $50,000 to come out of Colonel Town's capital reserve fund. With the CDFA tax credits of $124,400, it was a total project of total difference for our match was $118,575. So I believe Robin's looking to make sure that we're moving on the path towards using this and likely reallocating monies from elsewhere in order to do so. So, okay. Do you need a formal motion for?
I make a motion. Whatever you just said.
To authorize the town manager to move $118,575 from the asphalt line in order to move it to the Colonel Town Home and Grounds line to replace the heating system.
So the remaining $5,000, because the amount that we can be reimbursed is $124,400. Will that come out of the CRF? Because I know the 118 was the original deposit.
Yeah, so the total the heating price with the contingency is $242,000. So less the 124 is 118 that's owed.
Oh, okay, I see. All right.
Yes.
So I've got a motion to move that 118 from the paving
Yes,
to the Colonel Town.
home and grounds.
I'll second that. We need a roll call. Shane? Aye. Kathy Jean?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's no other old business this evening. Next up, select board member reports.
I will just like to thank the town crew, fire department, and all those that had the response to the recent storm. Thank God we didn't have any roads washed out, but we did have a lot of power lines and trees in the road. And they were very quick out responding and cleaning up all the messes. So thank you to the town crew that responded and the fire departments.
No report from me tonight.
Okay. Next up is the town manager report. I spoke to Maggie Machinist up at the Division of Forest and Lands and then to Rachel Bruce over at the state park regarding the Mount Prospect sign. So the Mount Prospect sign's been replaced with the Week State Park sign, and the Mount Prospect sign is being retained at the state park for potential restoration at a later time. They are wrapping up $4 million worth of upgrades to the tower in the summer. And they said they're having an excellent season regarding their programming. So all's well up there. Our former insurer, NHIT, just sent another word that they have received $610,000 as the Secretary of State's office obtained those monies as part of a large settlement to the fund from the prior administrator of the trust. So what does that mean? We'll be receiving another refund from them later this fall. So continuing to get, we had to pay a bunch to them and we continue to get little chunks. We've received 2 chunks. This will be the 3rd payment to us. 250 Summer Street is now town owned. We've posted the property notes for no trespassing and have inventoried the contents. We're working to solicit cleanup quotes, and any cleanup will be added to any future repurchase price. I've had one welfare award for $690, and I've had 3 inquiries the past 2 weeks. I sent a note along to the Lou Lever Committee on July 7th. They have not responded with their next committee date. At their pleasure. They are not a town seated board, so it's at their own expense. They were expected to meet in mid to late June, maybe June 23rd, and then they didn't have all of their members. They couldn't have a quorum, so they haven't met. I was hoping that they would schedule something soon, but maybe it's the summertime stuff. Anyway. Also submitted an updated sewer use ordinance to DES for their review, so that will be also coming before you as part of a public hearing in the fall. It's been very busy, but also we have a budget meeting tomorrow night at 5:15 right here. And that is it for me for this evening. There's information in your packets tonight for a land use permit for Samuel and Donna Evans at 17 Grove Street for a demo. Jeffrey Beaton at 90 Middle Street, also for demo. Rhonda Stover at 6 Hopkinton Place for the construction, stick-built prefab barn style side lofted shed. And also for Scott and Lori Baldwin at 230 Martin Meadow Pond Road for construct vinyl sided stick-built 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-story with a roof and a garage. So that's right in there. Any public comments this evening?
What comments? Robin?
I just wanted to, talk about brownfield money, because I had asked. I followed up with North Country Council last week, and there have been some projects that Jessica had submitted to, Yukon for, who was basically going to be managing this brownfield money. Short answer to that is, it lapsed and nobody notified anyone that this money just went away. So, I contacted DES and said, well, we were in the pipeline for this. Is there any way that we can, try to expedite some of the money through their program? So I'm just waiting for an answer on that. And this is all for 250 Summer.
Yes.
I'd like to ask just the refunds that are coming back to the town, where do those refunds, where do they go?
Ultimately, we end up kind of sitting on them until they fall back into the unrestricted fund.
Secondly, I just want to compliment the man right here for his service that we've done. I've been on the field, I know the drill. The town people don't understand, and we're so we do. What this man has done for the town for a number of years. To replace him, not going to be a cheap thing. Just understand. When you bid out this job, his job, and he's one of only 3. The best of this whole town. I know what 3 people do. I know what 3 people are able to do. And any additional burdens on that department, let alone the other departments, just like Fulton. I just don't know how in the hell they get away with doing for you. Sometimes I don't know if they even take a lot. And if they do, it's on the left. Spend it, done it. I just want to talk to this guy.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
You know, Alan?
Did you say you could set up time for public hearing on water and sewer?
Yes, it's going to be later this fall. Future date TBD.
Later this fall?
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna try and stack a bunch of public hearings all.
So talk about nonprofit sign, I understand that if the state took that, you're gonna take care of it, if the nonprofits keep both on.
They are, yep, they're retaining it at the state park.
Right, way I understand it, that sign wall, nonprofit people. I had the interest in that sign, I maintained it, I told you, I held 15 years because it was pulled to pieces and it was down off the sign pole. Really, I want to be
sure that Mount Prospect Ski Club can get that back if they so, they drive it. Sign they replaced up there looks nice, but it's this big, Mount Prospect Ski Club. And we had the whole sign with a nice picture. So, it was redone, but it was just further, 57th Street, that's Dina's. And we have, the town does own it, they took it, campus. Correct?
Yes,
And so it will be put up for sale.
not until the repurchase period ends.
If we purchase it. And
Yeah.
for that, what we're cleaning up, and cleaning up, give it back for another. We'll clean it up and tab will be added. Yeah, okay, good. Thank you very much. It's a nice offer, we never should allow it to happen, and I should have been stopped nipped in the bud. I never had a junkyard permit there, and we were very critical of it, and never should have nipped in the bud. I think you guys will agree with it. Going forward, I hope you never allow that to get that far again, if anything, get that far. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? I will entertain a motion to enter a non-public session for RSA 91A semicolon 3.
2C.
2C, okay.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion, I will second. Roll call vote, Shane? Kathy Jean?
Aye.
Aye. We will now enter non-public session. Thank you, everyone. Come out.